Hey, thanks for joining us today for this very first Proverbs Post. My hope is to place one of these posts each week up on Facebook to give us just a little bit of insight into the chapters that we're going to be reading in the book of Proverbs, or maybe just select a specific proverb that week and talk about it just a little bit in this brief introduction. So, as we've mentioned already and talked about, our purpose in doing this is to gain wisdom. That's what we want. We all want wisdom. We want to be able to have wisdom for work and for home and relationships and our relationship with God, relationship with our spouse, our children, whoever it is, and want to develop that. And so the book of Proverbs is a book, God's book, filled with wisdom just through and through. Lots of different subjects that we'll look at and talk about. And our plan and how we're doing this and what we've already put forward is that we're going to read one chapter each day of the book of Proverbs. And so in essence, we'll read it once a month. There's 31 chapters in Proverbs, and we just want you to read each day's corresponding day. If you get behind, don't sweat it. Don't try to get all concerned that you're 2 or 5 or however many chapters you are behind. If it's the 17th of the month, then start reading on chapter 17 again. Just pick up and try to read the corresponding day of the month. And what we're hoping to do, because we have a focus each month that we're going to kind of center in on, as you read through the book of Proverbs each time, there'll be a different focus each month. So it won't be the same thing. In fact, the book that we put together actually has 3 different translations. You might want to read from the NIV one time through. The next month, read it from the New King James or the NLT, the New Living Translation, or you may want to read some other version altogether that you have on your phone or tablet or that you just carry with you. Whatever the case is, just going back and reading it from a different perspective and each focus. The focus for the month of January is going to be on fools, how not to be one. And so that's that. As you read through, just look for the times that fools are mentioned, what their characteristics are, or the wise and how they're mentioned, how not to be a fool, and just begin to develop that kind of an understanding as you read through each chapter. Now, what I want to give you today, just briefly, is an introduction that's found actually in verse 20 of chapter 1. And it says that wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. She calls to the crowds along the main street, to those who are gathered in front of the city gate. And here's what she's going to cry out to them. Here's wisdom being personified as a woman. She stands and she cries out and she says, "How long, you simpletons, will you insist on being simple-minded? And how long will you mockers relish your mocking? How long will you fools hate knowledge? Come and listen to my counsel. I'll share my heart with you and make you wise." And that's what we want. We want wisdom. So I want to encourage you to listen to wisdom's counsel. And she's shouting, and there are her words over and over again that we'll find in the book of Proverbs. Read these words. Don't try to rush through. Just consider what can you get from this chapter today as you read each day. So we're going to start on January the 1st and read chapter 1. January the 2nd, read chapter 2, and so on and so forth. We get back to February, we'll start again and read it from a different perspective. And in the front of your book, those of you who picked one of those up, it has listed each month's focus and what we'll be looking for. Use that book as however you want to. Underline in it, draw circles around words, or draw a picture, write your notes or questions or whatever in the space that's provided, and make it beneficial for you. And as I said, I hope each week to post another Proverbs message up for you to consider. And I just thank you for listening to this today. Really encourage you to get into the Word, read about wisdom, and then try to make that application. That's really what wisdom is. It's not just learning information, but it's learning how to apply it to your life and how we make that beneficial to us. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll do this again next week.